Hey guys, it's me. It's Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you have time, I really love positive comments in the comment section. I love reading them when I wake up. And I love seeing likes and shares. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Pass it on to all of the wonderful people in your life. And don't forget that positive comment in the comment section. So guys, I just wanted to talk to you guys about something. It's very, very quick. It's very, very basic, but it made me laugh. And I was like, oh my God, I got to tell my subscribers about this because this cracked me up. So I was talking to someone online on Facebook, and they told me that they think that single people who have badass kids, we're just going to keep this real, I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat this, who have badass kids need to not date. And she was like, what you think? And I was like, oh my. Well, first of all, let's talk about badass kids, because a lot of people will tell you no children are bad, quote unquote. Now, I used to teach. I've taught 5th grade all the way up to 12th grade. I even taught at the YWCA. I taught some adults there. And now I teach English to Korean adults. So I've had a lot of experience with teaching. And one of the things I will tell you is that when people say there's no such thing as bad kids, they don't know kids. They don't deal with kids. You know, they saying that from the outside looking in, or they might have 2 or 3 kids, but they don't really know kids. Okay? I've worked with thousands of kids, and there are some kids who have some issues. There are some kids. And a lot of them is because they've been through something. A lot of them is actually a response to trauma. So they might got some behavior issues, but it's for a reason, you know? And as an educator, we would all know what their issues were and how, and their triggers and things like that. That was always the conversations during the IEP meetings, and, you know, how to help them, how to service them. But there are some kids that are bad. I'm sorry, you can't pretend like they're not. Now, there are some kids, like I said before, a lot of them is a response to trauma, but not all the time. I've met kids who have really sweet parents who just was mischievous. They just was mischievous. That was just who their personality was. It wasn't their parents' fault. The parent was doing the best they could. So I've met different types of children. So what if you're the kind of person who has kids that are rambunctious, kids that may say curse words sometimes, kids that have been caught stealing a few times, kids that may have set a fire here and there? These are the kind of kids that I've come across, as well as normal, you know, red-blooded kids too. I come across all kinds. So the question then becomes, if you have one of these kids that is a serious behavior problem, should you date? Now, that's a real difficult one, because I don't want to say that you shouldn't date because you have children with behavior problems, because I don't think that's fair to you as the single parent, because she was saying if the person is a single parent. So I don't think that's fair to the single parent to be like, oh, just don't date because you know your children are unruly. I would say go ahead and date, but I would not introduce anybody to my children. You know, that would just be something that was separate. I might go out and have a good time, have a couple drinks with a female, or, you know, a gentleman caller, whatever you're into, and then bring yourself back home. Everybody don't need to meet your kids in the first place. When my daughter was little, she did not meet the people I dated unless I was serious about them. There was no reason for her to. So I would say they shouldn't be meeting them anyway. And if this person is serious about you, or y'all decide to move into that realm, then they need to know about your children's behavior problems. And the two of you need to make a comprehensive plan about how to address them, what the child's triggers are, what kind of supports are in place. That's something y'all need to talk about. If y'all going to get serious and go to the next level, you can't just tell this person, my kids have some behavior problems, but don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Well, what happens when they're alone with your kid. Let's say you go to the bathroom and little Johnny acts out. What do you want? What do you want your now, boyfriend or girlfriend? How do you want them to respond? They should know what the appropriate response is for your child, because the response is going to be different for every child. So I don't think that they should necessarily not date, but I think that they should take this into serious consideration. And I don't think that they should introduce their children to their, lover or whoever the case is, unless it's something that's really going somewhere. I remember I was dating this Scorpio, and my daughter was like 4, maybe like 4, and I was dating this Scorpio, and that relationship wasn't going anywhere. I already knew it wasn't going anywhere, and it didn't go anywhere fast. So in the very beginning stages, when he would come spend the night, and this, as a matter of fact, this happened the whole time now that I think about it. When he would come spend the night, I always made him get up before my daughter got up and go outside and knock on the door, so that she wouldn't know that he was there all night. I didn't think that was appropriate information for my child to have. So he would go knock on the door, and I would say, "Get the door," and she would go get the door, and it made it seem like, whoa, look who's here, who had been there since the day before, So that was one of the things I used to do. So as a parent, I just don't think that your kids really need to meet the people that come into your life if they're not going to be a permanent fixture. And if they're going to be a permanent fixture, this is one of the things y'all need to talk about before they meet your child. So I'm not going to tell you don't date, just stay in the house and, work on your child's behavior. That's not fair to you. Also, it's not really realistic for the child, because it's like they need to see their parent, living a natural, normal adult life, and going out sometimes is part of that. They need to see that energy. So I would definitely encourage dating, but I just would not encourage letting them around your child without all that information, because everybody raises kids differently. And your child, like I said, every child is different, but your child, bad or not, every child is different. How you raise them is different. Like, one parent may think that it's appropriate for an adult to chastise their child and tell them when they're doing something wrong. But another adult may have a different method. You know how some people touchy about their kids and they don't want you saying nothing to their kids? Them kind of people? Some people are just like that. So if you're going to let somebody into your life, don't set them up for failure. You need to explain to them what your standards are when dealing with your children. Do you chastise them? Do you use positive reinforcement? What do you do when they throw a tantrum? What would you do if your child stole from you? What if they hit you? These kind of things need to be discussed between the two people. And I think that I've seen this happen a lot with people where they didn't discuss parenting styles. They let somebody into their life, and then they end up in a big blowout, a big fight, because you yelled at Johnny, or Maggie said you wouldn't give her a cookie and Maggie can have a cookie whenever she wants to if she's a good girl. Well, you needed to know that. You needed to know that was something that was put in place for Maggie, So that's my bottom line to you guys. So sound off in the comment section. Do you know people who have children with behavior problems? Do they date? Does it work out? Do you think it's a good idea? I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Also, if you would like to have a reading done, please email me. All my information will be underneath this video, and come back soon because I have a lot more to say. Okay, guys? See you tomorrow.